Alrighty.
What is up, Lions Nation?
Yeah.
This is We Are Lions Nation podcast. It is our post game show. The Lions went in and took on the Rams. I would say it was a shootout, but the Lions fell short to the Rams in that game. We're going to talk about it. And we have Statman's player of the game tonight. Statman, I did finish that and I was able to get it done. So, boom, boom, bang, bang.
Awesome.
That countdown. I want to start it now.
Yeah, go do it.
Jeez. Yeah.
What are you? Sit down.
Sorry, animals acting up, getting in
Oh
the fit. Shouldn't be.
gosh. Guys, subscribers, we are still at 367 tonight. So no move from Saturday, but that's all right. 367 out of 500 on that March to 500. Not too shabby, though. I will take it. Tonight, the stat man is in the house, like always, the one and only. And we have MCR.
It's Mr. PP.
PP.
The Packer picker.
Yeah.
So basically, tonight we're going to recap the game. We're going to talk about the Lions' offensive performance, how that kind of kept the Lions hanging in there. We're going to talk about the defense and what the loss means for the Lions' playoff outlook. They're not out of it by any means, but I kind of have a breakdown of how it needs to play out. And then we're just going to look ahead to the Lions matchup against the Steelers real quick. And that'll basically be it. Unless MCR, was there any injury updates from that game that you have at all?
The only injury that I know of was Panay Sewell, and I believe he came back in the game. So I don't think there's anything that's really outstanding or holding them back.
Yeah, nothing that I saw either. Yeah, Panay Sewell went out for I think a play.
Yeah, like 2 drives or something. Yep.
Statman, did you catch any injuries at all that I may have missed or Ryan missed? Did you see anything?
I think Dan Campbell might have injured his pride, but that's about it.
Yeah, hard fought battle, man. Game like this is huge. We almost pulled it out, but that was the question. Could we do it 2 games in a row? And unfortunately, we tried. We fought our asses off with a banged up secondary. I mean, had we had Joseph and Branch, I think we probably could have won this game by 7 or 10 points even. But it is what it is. We ended up falling short due to a banged up secondary, and Matthew Stafford took advantage of it.
And I have to say, in the second half, the play calling was absolutely garbage offensively to start the second half. That's what put us behind the ball. That's what lost us the lead. And then Dan Campbell buried us in even more of a hole once we went down on the lead. I think we were down by 3 at that point. And then pass. Like, come on, what happened to ground and pound? David Montgomery was running great in that game. Gibbs, not so well. Why not feed the rock to the guy that's hungrier? I think David Montgomery, if they would have played him a lot more in the run game and just stuck with it, I think we would have had a better outcome. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen guys like Jameson Williams had some great plays. Amon-Ra St. Brown, elite in this game. The passing game was working. Yes, you're right. Jahmyr Gibbs, I don't know what was going on there, but they had a lock on him in that game all game long. But when Montgomery got the ball, you're right, he was doing really well. And Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't notice as much as you did with the. I did in the very beginning of the play calling, but I thought we just kept trying to run it with Gibbs and it wasn't working. Is kind of what I saw.
Well, what I saw was in the second half when we went down for the first time because we were up 7 going into halftime. Rams came out. We stopped them. We got the ball back. Couldn't do anything. Gave the ball back to the Rams. They scored. And then we got the ball back again. Did the same thing. I mean, it's just the inconsistent play calling. When you start off with a pass and then you don't get a completion or you get a sack on that play, now you're behind the chains. Now you're going to have to pass on second down. And then say you only get 2 or 3 yards on the next pass. Well, now you're at third and long. When you get stuck in those third and long situations, you're asking for the Rams to beat you. They have some of the best pass rushers in the game. And the only reason we were able to keep them at bay the entire first half is because we were staying consistent with the run game. Whether it was doing good or not, there's still that threat of the run. They're going to be watching Jahmyr Gibbs. You do that fake handoff, play action, there's going to be a guy open. It was working all the first half, but then they go away from it in the second half. I don't know what was said in the second half, what they thought was going to change. I have no idea. But you can't depend on the pass game the entire game. It doesn't work for any team. You can look at any team out there, any team that's actually doing something in this league that's actually winning games. All of them have a efficient run game with an efficient pass game. You can't just be one-sided.
No, you're right. 100%. 100%. Now that you laid it out like that, it makes sense. And another thing that I noticed too is you have a guy like Tesla in the game. For most of the game, he's in there, but he is not being targeted hardly at all. That guy needs to be utilized way more. And then I agree with you 100% about David Montgomery. Every once in a while, you get a game where Montgomery seems to be having a better day. When he gets the ball, he's getting more yards. He's able to penetrate the defensive lines a little bit better than Gibbs. So keep him going. Get Montgomery's momentum going. Get him moving, and then see what it does instead of going completely away from it, like you said. I thought we looked good coming into this game. I was like, here we go. We got this. This is the Lions team that we've been seeing. And then I didn't think the passing game was that awful. I thought we were doing well, but like you said, when you switch it up like that, Statman, it's gonna they can plan for it, and they did. And before we jump over to the defensive side, because I think that, yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Well, one thing that people have to remember, David Montgomery, he gets better the more touches he gets.
Hold on a second.
And you can see he was getting more aggressive with his runs, being more patient with his runs. He's kind of standing in the back, wait for a hole to open up, and then he was going full speed, and he was lowering his head at people, knocking linebackers over. That's the kind of running back you need in a game like this. Rams are a tough defense. They came into the game as the 4th best rush defense, I believe, in the league coming into that game. You have to punch them in the mouth. You have to have a running back that can do that. Jahmyr Gibbs is the Lightning. They're third best rush defense in the league. But you have to punch them in the mouth, and you have to have a running back like David Montgomery doing that for you. Gibbs is a flashy one cut down the field or out in the open or pass catching running back. You can't depend on him to get those tough yards all the time.
Oh, sorry, wrong thing. I want to bring this up, and I'll ask both of you guys this. What was it that what was so much different between, like, how did they plan for Gibbs so well? From you go for a game where Gibbs is a 200-yard rusher or whatever, and then the Rams are just able to completely shut a player like that down, MCR. What did they do to do that?
The difference is, the Rams are a better defense than the Cowboys. So, he might be able to run 200 yards on the Cowboys. He's not going to do that against the Rams. It's a totally different entity defense. And I think they just studied film tape, and their main priority was Gibbs. That's why Montgomery had the better day. because they were more focused on what Gibbs was going to do with the ball, containing Gibbs, and that was part of their game plan. So they just pretty much strategized, and whatever they did, it seemed to work. Whatever schemes they called, they did do a lot of nickel packages in that game as well. So I think that stuff really helped carry the Rams to containing that running attack.
Now, just for comparison, Statman, you had Jahmyr Gibbs with 13 carries, 38 yards. He was averaging 2.9 yards a carry. Montgomery, with only 7 carries, had 32 yards, averaging 4.6 yards a carry with a touchdown.
Yeah, and I don't see how the coaches don't see that too. We're watching it from our seats on our couches, on TV, or on our phone, and we can see it plain as day that Montgomery's having the better game. You need to feed the guy that's more hungry. David Montgomery, you could see him at the end of the game just sitting there on the bench, and he's rolling his eyes because he already knows. He's like, I don't understand why the hell I'm not getting played. But he's not the type of guy to sit there and call Dan Campbell out for that or anything else. He believes in whatever Dan Campbell draws up for the team, but you have to use what's working. Jahmyr Gibbs is obviously targeted. Anytime Jahmyr Gibbs is on the field, there was 3 guys around him, whether he caught it or whether he's running it. There was 3 guys on him every time.
Yeah, so when it's like that, when they take away one of our biggest weapons, you have to adjust for that. Put them both in at the same time. I keep saying it over and over. They don't do it enough.
Yeah,
then the defenses have no idea which one of those two is going to get the ball, if either one of them. It's a lot harder to game plan when you have Montgomery and Gibbs in the backfield than just one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they need to do like a thunder and lightning thing like the Giants used to do with Tiki Barber and Ron Dane. They could have Gibbs. Let's say you got Gibbs going to get 20 carries, but you want Montgomery to have 14, 15. That way you're mixing it up.
They used to do that.
Yeah.
They used to rotate him so much more. Right, Statman?
That was last year. Last year was under Ben Johnson.
Montgomery can catch too. Montgomery can get those screen catches too, just like Gibbs. So, they could do a flood screen.
Even though Ben Johnson is gone and moved on, he's having some success over there in Chicago right now. Detroit is not having as much success, but it's almost like Dan Campbell is trying to do it his way. Why not keep things that worked last season, even though your offensive coordinator is not there? That doesn't mean you can't still do the same type of things. Like, why go away from something that works? I don't know. It blows my mind.
It's a different team. They're different. They're a different team this year. I think that's pretty much how Dan Cable's looking at it. But I agree with you. Stick with what works. It's a 2-headed monster there. And then St. Brown is always going to be open. If he's not open, Jameis Williams is going to be open. So, if it doesn't work, St. Brown is always going to be open. So,
we literally had, and then if you go to the receiving, we had 2 receivers in that game. 2 of them.
St. Brown and Williams.
That was it. That's all that Goff threw it to. He targeted Tesla once, Cleve Raymond once, and Dave Montgomery once. But it was literally St. Brown show, especially in that first half. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Why are you not using the other weapons that you have? I know we don't have our tight end right now, but we have a great rookie receiver, I think, that can make some plays if you just feed him a little bit.
Well, the one target Tesla did have was in the end zone. He got mauled by the defender. I don't know how that wasn't a pass interference, but
that touchdown that wasn't a touchdown.
Yeah, Dean Blandino couldn't even explain it when he was trying to explain it to the people that were watching. He literally said, "I don't know how to explain this. I'm going to explain it the best way I can." From what I'm seeing, how they called it is he caught the ball, lost control of the ball, regained control of the ball in the end zone, so then it was a touchdown.
Yeah,
he said, but it still doesn't make sense to me.
They just made that shit up because they knew there's a referee literally standing right there.
and I could see on the damn replay that the ball hit the ground. I don't know how that was even a catch to begin with.
And if it was a catch, his knee was down 1.5 yards before the goal line. Like the ball
Now,
wasn't even anywhere close.
I didn't realize that you could bounce the ball off the ground and re-catch it, and then it's a touchdown.
Now,
Or a
before
catch.
I want to do this before we get to the defense stat man. I want to bring up your player of the game because I'm about to talk about both of them. But Statman's player of the game, rightfully so, this week is Amon-Ra St. Brown. 13 receptions, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns. A hell of a game for St. Brown. He was there, though. I mean, this was a showing.
I called in the pregame show that he shows out against the Rams every time.
Yeah, he did great.
He was going to light it up.
He wasn't dropping anything. But you have to give credit, too, to Jamison Williams. 7 receptions, 134 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, he's been lighting it up. That's one thing I have to say about Dan Campbell. He has lit up Jamison Williams. Because before Dan Campbell took over, this wasn't the Jamison Williams that we've seen. Now we're starting to see him. Since then, he has just been a huge target for Jared Goff, and it's been working. I want to get over guys to the defense because I'm interested to get your guys' take on the defensive play. I think there was some good stuff. There was some good stuff in that game. Aiden Hutchinson had a really awesome interception. I think we did okay against the run, but we got lit up by Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. But I think we all thought that was going to happen. Statman, what's your defensive takeaways? I mean, what did you see with the defense besides did you see anything good coming out of that?
I don't think we did good enough against the run.
I agree with you.
Kyron Williams had over 70 yards rushing. I believe he had 2 touchdowns, too. Blake Corum had a touchdown against us. It's just crazy. Like, I said it. You have to stop that run. You got to make Matt Stafford one-dimensional. Even when they were trying to or starting to stop the run, Stafford was just dicing them up on the defense.
Well, I think that accounts to pressure. I didn't see Stafford getting too much.
He actually had a lot of pressures in that game.
Did he?
But Stafford's a baller. That dude was getting hit in the face. He was getting hit as he was throwing and still throwing it on the line.
Yep.
I don't know how. The guy is a mastermind, a manipulator of defenses. If you watch him, he was doing a lot of no-look passes too and hitting right on the money. The guy's the best at it. We knew it coming into the game. He's one of the elite quarterbacks in the league, and there's a reason why they're the number 1 team in the NFC right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the numbers between the two, Stafford was sacked twice, Goff was sacked once. They threw for almost the exact same amount of yards, over 300 yards. Stafford had 2 touchdowns, Goff had 3 touchdowns, so the quarterbacks are right there in the game. But when you talk about the defense, where is it? Puka Nacua, 9 receptions, 181 yards in the day. Then you had Parkinson with 2 touchdowns, 75 yards. Devontae Adams had 4 receptions for 71 yards till he went out. Like, those are 3 people with almost 100 yards each of them.
Yep.
The Rams defense, the Rams' ability to throw the ball, that was killing us every time, especially to Nacua. Our defensive backs can't cover anyone.
You know who was killing us? DJ Reed. We thought he was going to be a savior of our defensive backs. Ever since that hamstring injury, he has not played the same.
No, he hasn't. We really have been getting killed in I think that's really what did it.
Yeah, that's been the key for us this season, and the reason why we've allowed so many points is this secondary has to tighten up. They have to buckle down. Hutchinson's able to get the stop. Jack Campbell's able to make plays on running backs. We got guys up here, Muhammad. We got guys that can make stops, get to this quarterback. But the reason why we're causing too many points is just these passing yards. Dak Prescott even was throwing for about 300 yards. JJ McCarthy almost threw for 300 against us in that loss we had. And that's why we lost the game, because we could not stop the passing attack. And this has been our problem, is why we've been allowing too many points. Yeah, we got our secondary banged up, but still, I mean, we have to correct this. We got to find a way to minimize their field, their passing attack. If we can cut that down 25, 30% of what they get, I think that will get us in a better situation to win more games, because we're not losing by much. These games that we have lost, but it always just comes to that back and forth battle, and then the next team's just able to go down and score because our secondary, it's not there this year. But we do have injuries. We've had Arnold banged up. Amik Robertson even went out in that game for a couple series. He was banged up for a little bit. It's just our secondary is just not there. We got to get better.
Yeah, and I agree. And Statman, I want to ask you this question. Why, if you're the Lions and you know the situation that we have in our defensive backfield, you see the last few games how bad it is. I just don't understand why they didn't try to do something to improve it. It doesn't seem like they did anything.
Why did we not go after somebody before the trade deadline? I think that's the biggest question right now. We kind of knew what was going on at the trade deadline, and we didn't make any moves, not for a pass rusher and not for any defensive back help. I don't understand it either.
It's clear that is what we need, and that's what's killing us, and they didn't do anything about it. So we're just going to keep going into these games hoping that these guys that aren't playing well are all of a sudden going to do a 180 and become ultimate defensive backs, and I don't see that happening. They have to do something different, or the Lions playoffs are still alive. They still have a chance. They have to win out. Chicago, if they lose a couple and we beat Chicago, we're in. It's as simple as that. That path is the best path for the Lions, from what I was reading, is the best path for success.
That's the only path for the Lions. We have to win out. We have to beat the Bears at the end of the season in Chicago, and Chicago has to lose one of their other two games.
Yeah.
So Chicago has to lose 2 out of 3 games, which they play Green Bay again, so we can hope for Green Bay to beat them.
And then they play the 49ers too.
Yeah, so it's going to be a tough road for Chicago. We got a little bit easier road. Steelers they have Aaron Rodgers. They do have some weapons over there, DK Metcalf, Freiermuth, Warren. And then that defense is pretty stout, minus TJ Watt. But, we have to play Minnesota again, which they beat us already head-to-head. Who would have won that first Minnesota game, we wouldn't even be as worried as we are right now. But we have to beat the Steelers, we have to beat the Vikings, and we have to beat the Bears. That's the only way. And the Bears are going to have to lose 2 out of their 3 games, including 1 to us. So,
now, I think is there still a possibility if we lose again and the Bears lose all 3? I think maybe. If we went out, we'll be 11 wins, and then beating the Bears will be winning out, so that would put us above them.
Because we'd beat them head-to-head twice.
Yeah.
We'll be at 10 wins, so if we win our next 3 games, we'll be because we got 7 wins now. So
we have 8 wins.
Oh, okay.
I thought
we were 7. Oh, okay.
So it's not out of the question. It gets a little bit easier, but then Satman, the question comes, okay, you just got a little bit of a taste of what it could be like in the playoffs. So the Lions make it, but they got to take on another team like the Rams again. They got to do something, or else they're not going to be able to even go anywhere in the playoffs. It's ridiculous. You can't expect something to work that's not working. Obviously, it doesn't work. These guys aren't good enough.
Was it Calvin Shepard that said playoffs start today with the Rams? Well, if the playoffs started today, we'd be out already. So hopefully that's not how we go into the playoffs playing if we make it, and that's a big if. We control our own future. And we also have to have a little bit of luck on our side, having the Bears lose to the 49ers or the Packers again. And we have to beat them at the end of the year. We have to win out. So it's in our hands. It's in Dan Campbell's hands. It's in the coaching staff's hands. It's in the players' hands. Now let's see if they want it bad enough.
And I think if we did make the playoffs, I'm not sure exactly who we'd play, but I'm thinking Eagles or Seattle. We would probably play, and I don't know. We couldn't beat the Eagles the first time.
We'd be the seventh seed, so we'd have to play against the number 2 seed.
Now, if we went out and beat the Bears,
beats the Rams.
If we went out and beat the Bears, and then we bump ahead of the Bears, then we would be the division leaders.
No, the Packers would.
Oh, okay. Not if they lose.
Even though they got that tie, but yeah, the Packers would bump up.
Yeah, but we want the Packers to beat the Bears, okay? So we don't want them to lose.
Yeah, but after they beat the Bears, they can lose. After that.
That's the Packer pickers.
I feel like we can't. I feel like we can't go off of the show without mentioning a couple things that happened yesterday. First off, it is Green Bay, but you don't ever want to see a player like Micah Parsons go down with a torn ACL. That's what they're saying it is. So big injury over there for the Packers, and then also over there at Kansas City, same thing. Patrick Mahomes, pretty bad ACL injury as well for him. So he is done. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Statman, but the ACL injuries are not easy to come back from. Isn't that one of the harder ones to come back off of?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think Adrian Peterson was the only one that I remember that came off of. He tore his ACL, MCL, LCL, PCL. He tore everything in his knee. And he came back the next year and rushed for 2,000. So it's not impossible to come back from, but you have to be willing. You have to be working your ass off to come back from that kind of injury.
Type of person. Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so the Packers defense taking a huge hit over there in Green Bay on the defensive side. And even though Kansas City was eliminated officially, you still don't want to see anyone like that, get an injury like that. Patrick Mahomes is a great player. So hopefully he can
Hall of Famer.
He'll get back to it, come next year.
I think he's going to turn into Lamar Jackson and start being hesitant about running. As you notice, Lamar Jackson has not been running as often or be willing to scramble after his injury earlier this year. Quarterbacks start thinking differently when they're like, oh, man, I could lose my career if I get hit just right.
Yep.
Matthew says, listen, guys, let's just face it. The Lions are bleeding from a lot of different areas. They need an OC. The offensive line is completely I can't read that. Thank you. Jared Goff is on the Lions. Northern team would have him. No other team would have him. I think that's what he meant. I think.
Jared Goff's the longest streak for quarterbacks scoring touchdowns in games is 20 straight games right now. His numbers are top of the league as far as stats with any other quarterback. There's no comparison. Jared Goff's a great quarterback. I think play calling has a lot to do with our abysmal offense at times.
And this is we kind of just touched on this, Matthew, a little bit, but he said, honestly, ask yourself if this team does squeak in, do you feel in your heart by watching the play that they'd go anywhere in the playoffs?
No, the way that they played against the Rams, I don't see them going past the first round. Last year, I'm honestly surprised we went with only 2 losses going into the playoffs last year with the number of injuries we had on our defense. I believe we had 11 players on defense last year going into the playoffs that were all hurt. And
this year, though, it's different. It's because it seems to me that it's for our defensive side of the ball, it's one area that's just completely garbage.
Yeah,
Secondary.
you know what was different last year? We had sorry, the light went out.
We
Aaron
love
Glenn.
Commanders.
Aaron Glenn was our defensive coordinator last year, and guess what he specializes in? Defensive backs.
We have
Yep.
Justin Credible is here in the comments, guys, and he says, as a Jets fan, I take Goff all day, every day. Yeah, Goff's not a bad quarterback at all.
Quarterback. Like,
I honestly think we talked about this before we get out of here, but it's the defensive side of the ball that has to be fixed, or else we go in the playoffs and leave the playoffs right away. If we make the playoffs.
I love Goff. I think Goff is the right quarterback for our team.
Yep.
I think we just need to fix our defense, especially in the secondary. We thought we fixed it with DJ Reed. He got hurt early in the year with a hamstring, and ever since he's come back from that hamstring, he has not played right. He's been letting receivers blow right past him, slacking on coverage, miscommunications. I mean, if you look at the targets, how many times did DJ Reed get targeted in that game against the Rams? And I'm sure they caught just about every single ball.
yeah, exactly. And, if we did make the playoffs, we're probably looking at playing Seattle, and I don't think we would make it past that game,
Yeah, Smith and
So-
Jigba will kill our secondary.
Yeah, we'll get torched just like Nakua did, maybe even worse. So,
Okay, so is there anything, and we'll end it on this, is there anything that the Lions can do before things get real in the playoffs? If we make it, what can they do to fix it?
Right.
They
I
got
don't know.
nothing.
I
They
don't
gotta
know.
pray.
Yeah,
Everybody at home that's a Lions fan, just pray for us. I mean, that's all we can do at this point. It's been so hit and miss. We win a game really good, and then we lose a game. Then we win a game really good, and then we lose a game. It's been back and forth, back and forth. The consistency isn't there. Until we get consistency down, I don't see us doing anything in the playoffs, and that's if we make it.
We will have
Yeah.
to see. That is pretty much all we have for you guys for the post-game show tonight. We will be back tomorrow night for our Pick'em show, our awesome favorite show. And Marco, I know you're not in here now, but if you do catch this later, I believe that you are eligible this Friday if you want to come on and play. Dustin has missed a few opportunities, so if it's going to be Marco's go if he's ready. Dar's in
awesome.
the house, says, what's up? What's up, Dar? We just finished up, buddy. Welcome in.
What's going on, Dar?
Statman, a final thought from you before we go.
Oh, Dan Campbell, please, for the love of God, stop going away from the run game. Need to stick to it. We need to stay balanced on offense. Jared Goff is a great quarterback, but he needs a great running game with it. You cannot depend on him to use his arm the entire game to win you games. He's not Matthew Stafford. He's not Patrick Mahomes, but he is up there with his talent. But he has to work in a proper system for him to be successful. Stop going away from David Montgomery. He's working. Feed him the damn rock.
Agree. And on that note, on behalf of myself, MCR, and the Statman, we are out of here. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
One pride.
One